Hey guys, this is Lauren with the Mindful Business Life podcast. I am here with Lindsay, and Lindsay is going to be the conduit. So make sure you're following both her and I. Tonight, we are talking about Journey to the Heart. It is a daily devotional that I bumped into while teaching yoga and really loved it. And I wanted to make it a part of my life moving into the new year. And I asked Lindsay if we could team up and kind of just take this on together to give you some background and some perspective and some motivation. So a little bit about me. I am the owner of RW Business Solutions, but I'm also a 200 plus hour yoga instructor, sub-certified in mindful yoga therapy, which is geared towards PTSD, anxiety, and depression, yin yoga, bar. I'm a Reiki level 2, do sound healing, all that jazz. And I really use mindfulness and positivity with my business coaching clients and my marketing clients to make their lives better. And so in this pod, on my end of the podcast, you'll get a business perspective early in the week, and later in the week, you'll get a more mindful perspective as well. And so Lindsay, tell them about you.
Awesome. Thanks so much, Lauren. I'm Lindsay Warwick. I am a 500-hour certified yoga teacher. I've been practicing yoga since 2009 and became an instructor in 2012 and have continued on with the journey since then. Vinyasa, power, yin, kids, all of the yoga styles. That sort of sparked my spiritual journey. Since then, I've become a Reiki master and I'm certified in integrated energy therapy. I am forever a seeker, so forever seeking the spiritual path. I've channeled Archangel Michael since I was the kid, so that is one of my main guides that I work with. I do card readings, I do all of the things. And currently, I do still have a matrix job, as I call it. I'm in sales as my full-time job, but on the side, I am a spiritual being having a human experience, essentially. So I'm just excited to be here and talk about this beautiful book with one of my beautiful friends.
I love you.
I'm an amateur at this.
No.
Yes, I will be launching the Conduit podcast YouTube channel. Not really sure how that's going to unfold, but we'll see.
Yeah, we're so excited to
I'm
move into
showing up.
this. Yeah, we're excited to move into this new era. People have been doing YouTube videos for a long time, but we're excited to be branching into it and just hopefully bringing fresh perspective and just giving you some daily motivation, something to make your day better, something to give you love and support as anytime you're struggling or you just need that extra boost. And so, like you said, we're going through a Journey to the Heart. It's a daily meditations on the path to freeing your soul. And it's how do you say her last name? Melody Beattie?
Beattie?
Beattie? Beattie. She also does something, the bestseller for Codependent No More. And again, it's just a daily devotional. So it's 365 days, just a little something to keep you going. What we're going to do is we record Tuesday nights for our Wednesday morning drop, and we're going to just every week come through with whatever that message is for the day. So, Lindsay, why don't you go ahead and read us January 5th?
Awesome. January 5th. Let life reveal itself to you. You don't have to strain so, trying to get your revelations. The guidance, the inspiration, the awareness you need will come to you. The way we're living now, from the heart, is much easier than the way we lived before. Sometimes it is so natural we might not understand what's happening. We may even be uncomfortable at first with how easy it is. We find ourselves straining to lift a heavy bowling ball when what we have to pick up is only a ping pong ball. Then we wonder why it feels so light. We may question whether there's something wrong because it feels so different. Just because your life feels lighter doesn't mean you're doing something wrong. Your next step, the answer to the question you've been mulling about, the direction for the next stage of your growth, where you will live next, what you need to do next about work, money, or that problem you've been struggling with will come. If you're fussing and straining, you may not hear it. Don't worry about getting all your answers or your agenda for the years ahead. That is not how this process works. In order to participate in this more magical way of life, trust that all you need to know will be revealed to you when it is time. Relax. You're on a journey of discovery. Let life reveal itself to you.
I love that so much. Such gentle reminders in here, such a beautiful book. So, with a lot of my business clients, we set goals, right? And we were having this conversation. So I love how it always like shows up, because ultimately we were having this conversation around like how important it is to set goals and to get to where you want to go. And I actually spoke out and was like, actually, sometimes you don't need to know where you're going or how you're going to get there. Like life will unfold for you. And they were like, but you do have to have goals. And like, you should have goals. You don't necessarily always have to have goals. And so I think it's funny because, we get in that mindset so much of like, we have to lay everything out, but life doesn't work in a straight line. And so I really loved her little breakdown of that, of, sometimes it will unfold for you naturally. And so it was really cool to have that conversation the other day because it wasn't met with resistance, but it was met with like, yeah, kind of, sort of, but not really. She's like, I'm sure you would agree that like ultimately you shouldn't set goals. And I'm like, yeah, but sometimes you don't know the path to getting there. I don't know. Lindsay, has this ever really popped up for you with life?
Yes, absolutely. It's interesting. I was also talking about this with a friend. The idea of going with the flow is actually more of like a feminine type of way to go through life, right? So leading with the heart, going with the flow, not being so I guess goal obsessed or outcome obsessed, but really just mindfully moving through life is definitely a more feminine approach and softer way to do things. Um, so this definitely came up in conversation with a friend of mine the other day, that all of the information that we need to know will come to us in divine timing, or we can pray about something, we can put it out there, we can put that vibration out there, but it'll definitely come to us when it is divinely aligned. Like just even for my matrix job that I referenced earlier, I was living in New Jersey almost, 2 years ago, and I knew I wanted to move down south. And I was freaking out about, applying for jobs and really just going crazy and crazy in my head. I saw like the bigger picture. I knew I wanted to move down south, but I couldn't see the actual pathway. And literally, like I did the work, because we have to do the work, right? I did the work, I put my resume out there, and then I kind of just let it go. And my matrix job literally came to me. Like the HR girl reached out to me and was like, hey, this was not the position you applied for, but we think you're a really good fit. And it was the perfect job to allow me to move 600 miles from my house and create a life in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. And my job, my muggle job, as I call it, is it's amazing. And it's not what I thought it was going to be. And this idea of letting life reveal itself to you also came up in conversation on Sunday. I attended a vision board workshop and it was beautiful. And the meditation in the beginning, the instructor advised us to envision your life 5 years from now, or envision your life a year from now. And to be real, I could not see it, because I know that life is so fluid, and all is revealed in source or God's timing. And so I had a conversation with my two friends that attended the workshop with me. And I asked them like, hey, did you see it? I'm like, cause I couldn't see it. So just being in the state of allowance, I feel like is definitely I'm embracing more of my divine feminine and being in that state of allowance. So I love this reading.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think the same happened with me with the move to Charlotte. It was just like I had my company in Myrtle, and with COVID, it slowed down heavily, and I took on a muggle job. And 6 months in, I was like, look, I was praying. I was like, look, I can't be here much longer. I was like, by next summer, I want to be gone. And I even said next summer. And then next thing you know, 3 weeks later, the opportunity to come out to Charlotte and take on head of marketing, to rebrand my consulting company, and to be pretty much starting to really blow up like I am, came. And it was just that I didn't say, the only thing I said was by next year, by next summer. And within a matter of 3 weeks, my whole life had changed. And then it was like, okay, like how am I going to get there? What am I going to do? Like, where am I going to live? And it was like, boom, boom, boom. Everything just fell in place so perfectly, so effortlessly. And it was just that trusting and believing that what's meant for me will come, and it will come easily. And so I'm like that. Um, when I was telling you that we had that conversation about, allowing rather than always planning, I made the big talk about like my presidential run. It was like, I don't really know. At first, I didn't know like what I was going to do to start promoting it, start getting into it, start working in the community more. And then it's slowly building to where the opportunities to work with the community are coming. I was just gifted a grant to offer to the yoga community, to offer free yoga classes. I literally barely had to even apply for it. It literally just came to me. The opportunities to work more with businesses is really popping up. I'm starting these podcasts to put myself out there, and I'm working with people who actually want to help me grow, but also I want to help them grow. And so I have that growth and community. And so that was like my whole thing with her. I was like, I didn't really know what avenues to take. I just knew I wanted to work towards being president, but ultimately, like, how do you do that? Other than the normal, I didn't want to be normal. I wanted to show up differently. And so now it's podcasts. Now it's gifting grants. Now it's working more with businesses. And so it naturally and organically grew to that. And I'm trying to be better with that trusting and believing. It is such a scary space to be in sometimes. But I noticed like this last week, I had such a stressful week. And like, I want to refer back to this. If you're fussing and straining, you may not hear it. This last week has been so stressful for me. I've had a peeping Tom, so I've been not sleeping well, and things have been crazy. And I'm like, what am I gonna do? Well, things just easily. My door locks got changed. I have a camera system now. But in doing that, my mental state of being was just so erratic and so all over the place and so worrisome. And then once I started regrounding back down and I started containing the thought process, things started coming through. My next steps to take for my business, the next steps to take with my life, next steps to take with my relationship. So like all these, I needed to quiet down. And so that way the new information I needed to receive could come through. And so I just love that, that reminder, like if you're fussing, if you're overthinking, you're not going to hear or see those tidbits that are guiding you to where you need to be next. And it's such a beautiful thing to hear.
Absolutely. I love all of that. And I so agree with all that. I love also the statement of just because your life feels lighter doesn't mean you're doing something wrong. Because especially in the US, we live in this hustle bustle. We live from our sympathetic nervous system, our flight, fight, or freeze response a lot. And so if we're not going and doing, we're like, well, for me as a Capricorn sun, I'm like, I'm not doing enough, you know?
I'm an
Um,
Aries.
And I know you're an Aries and Capricorn sun, Pisces rising, but Virgo moon. So I'm very earthy. I love to work. Like a friend of mine made a joke, like you work like you are feeding 6 children. I don't have any children, but I love to work. But anyway, I I had that mentality of if I'm not doing anything or if I'm not pushing against the resistance or whatever, because I know you mentioned resistance before, I would feel like something is wrong. But I love, again, this is a softer, feminine approach of life, of allowing and not pushing so much, like resting. And like you said, like you were stressed, you had a crazy week. As you know, you're one of my really good friends coming off of a very toxic relationship myself and rebuilding my nervous system so I can quiet and I can get the messages from source. So I love that you said all that as well.
Yeah, absolutely. She does a great job with this. I really love the thought behind it. And like you said, the hustle and bustle, United States is so known for that. And we're just like go hard or you're going home to nothing.
Literally.
And it's like, actually, I can take a break. Actually, I
Yeah.
can breathe for a minute. Actually, I can be happy with the progress that I haven't made, the progress I have made. And I guess that goes back to celebrating those small wins too, right?
Yeah.
Even though like she says, you're lighter right now, like go back and go, man, you worked hard. And I find myself getting like that. I'll be like, I need to keep on powering through. I've got all this stuff I want to do. But then I go, girl, you just spent like 12 hours working.
Yeah.
How about
Honor
you?
and honoring the space. A friend of mine from yoga said this years ago, honoring the space between no longer and not yet.
Yeah.
Because we always want to, like we just want to get there. We're an instant gratification society.
Yes.
Like we are. So it's I love I love this. Even this podcast that I'm doing that you asked me to do, like that came on a day where I was in the middle of my shit, my mental shit. And you were like, hey, do you want to do this podcast? And I was like, yes. And it was the journey to the heart, which a friend of mine today was literally like, girl, you've been going through the heart Olympics just with everything that, I went through this last year. I am literally going through the Heart Olympics. I guess we all are in a sense, in some aspect. We're all on different levels. But I love this line too. Like, don't worry about getting all of your answers or your agenda for the years ahead. It's exactly like what happened to me on Sunday when I could not see my life in a year. Because I'm like, well, my apartment lease is up in June. I can travel wherever I want for my beautiful matrix job. I don't know where I'm going to be in a year, but and just allowing, like I also knew that I wanted to get more into spiritual advising and talking about the things and the experiences that I've been through, and I had no idea how that was going to come to fruition. And then you texted me like, hey, you want to do this podcast? And I'm like, yes, I'm not very technical, I don't really know what I'm doing. I have the headset though, looks like I am. But like it's just a beautiful way, and it is a magical way to live, relaxing in that.
Yeah.
Like I even started my yoga journey as like an intense hot power teacher, and now my jam is yin and restorative and slowing down and being more in your parasympathetic nervous system. I rest and digest, so it's all magical,
I
relevant.
started like you did too. I power hot, anything to kill me at the end of the day, start my day off dead, but felt amazing. Like anything. And I too am the same way. I love a good restorative now. I love a good pause. I love a good nidra, even though I used to have restless legs during that. Like I've learned to simmer down enough to receive that healing. Um, but it is true. And it is kind of crazy that we're so go and we're so driven towards seeing results instead of just like being present and letting the results show up when they're meant to. And so I'm really grateful for this gentle reminder, to let life reveal itself to you. And
I
I
love
love
it.
the ending. Relax, you're on a journey of discovery. Let life reveal itself to you. And I think that's just, I need that. I needed that,
Yeah.
you get so worked up mentally and emotionally, and it carries you away, and you just forget to just be present with every moment that's presented to you, with the people, the places, the things that you have. So I think we all could definitely use that gentle reminder for today. So
Yeah, absolutely. And even if life right now is difficult for the listener, the viewer, both, relaxing into that discomfort in a way, knowing that God, source, universe, whatever you'd like to call it, only gives us, what we can handle in any given moment. And that all we have to do is continue to keep our heart open somewhat, and then pay attention to the signs and let life reveal itself to you for sure.
absolutely,
Yeah.
I could agree more. Definitely listen to those signs, being patient, being calm, being open to receiving, not shutting yourself down, and just and leading with the heart. I, last year was a big year for me in that. I've been a very emotionally shut off kind of person. That's just how I've had to live most of my life. And my biggest goal a few years ago was to open my heart. And so I started collaborating on events, and I started to, I didn't know how that would happen, but I started collaborating with people on events, and then started hosting a retreat with Leah. And now it's, I'm partnering in a business, and now I'm starting podcasts with people. And I'm just slowly opening my heart up to these opportunities to mix and mingle. And so just like you, just always on that journey in the heart, to be present, to be open, even though things are tough or I've been hurt or whatever. And so it's just a beautiful process. It really is.
It really is a beautiful process. And I'm just so grateful because that's how you and I met, is through a collaboration doing moon events at the wellness center in Myrtle Beach, and met so many beautiful souls just doing that and holding space for people. And it's just, I mean, you've truly been like such a pivotal like person in my journey in Myrtle Beach, especially in the spiritual yoga community. So I'm just so grateful, and things just keep unfolding. And even as you're talking about everything, I like just got all these images in my head about, how this is going to go, and like the path. Like it's just amazing. Like it just keeps, we show up, and then source, and I keep wanting to say God because that's what I call it, God. But you show up, and God will show up. Like God's going to meet you. You just keep showing up, and then more will be revealed. And it's just such a beautiful journey, isn't it? Even though sometimes it's scary as shit,
It's
and we're
very,
like holding on with white knuckles, but yeah, even
it's,
in the pain, in the darkness, yeah,
yeah,
just have
it's
to continue to have faith.
for sure. It's a wild ride. I mean, life isn't a straight line. No,
No
it's a
way.
roller coaster. It's up and down.
Yeah.
It's all over the place. It's, 3 steps back, 10 steps forward, 16 steps back, one giant leap to the moon, and then you're like back. So it's like,
Yeah.
just that relaxing into it, and flowing into it is all you can do. And I know it's hard to keep that constant. It is very hard. So
It's
one, don't,
definitely a practice.
yeah,
It's definitely mindfulness, and getting quiet is definitely a practice. And I recommend meditation.
I've anything that brings mind to stillness, absolutely.
Yeah.
And that's a big
Sound
thing.
healing, all the
Don't
things.
don't beat yourself up when you fall back into like that heavy thought pattern where you can't quiet it. Just try to gently remind yourself, like, it's all right, you're having a rough day, I can pull myself out of it, or next time try to like pull myself out of it. So be your own best friend at those hardest times. Love yourself a little bit more during those hardest times. um and try to gently relax yourself into it. So
Yeah, I love it. I'm loving this. It feels so good.
me too. I'm really
For
looking forward to doing our next one.
Yeah, I know, me too. I'm looking at the 6th and I'm like, ooh, I'm
Yeah.
excited. And I can't wait. My birthday is Saturday, so I'm excited for the January 8th reading, of course. But yeah, I'm just excited to see where this goes, and hopefully we've, opened up some hearts by our conversation, and I'm excited for next week
Yeah.
already.
So we just want to thank you guys. This is just going to be a little midweek motivation, a little something to keep your heart open, keep you feeling loved and supported, to help you grow mentally, emotionally. I'm Lauren with RW Business Solutions.
I'm Lindsay with Lindsay Warwick Yoga and Healing. You can connect with me on Instagram. It's Linzala Yoga, Linzala Yoga. Also, Lindsay Warwick on Facebook. You can connect with me there. Happy to chat, whatever, cards, Reiki, anything, yoga, all the things.
And I'm Calloway for president, Calloway, the number 4 and president on Instagram. You can find me there, or you can find me at RW Business Solutions for more business savvy stuff. Guys, we are so grateful that you joined in tonight and listened to us. We always love feedback, but we're looking forward to continuing to show up for you every Wednesday, giving you a little dose of love and support. And we just wish you guys the best. You guys have a good night.
Yeah, thank you so much. Have a beautiful day.